Oh, just okay, got it.
I will let you know when you can start. I'm going to go off of camera.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to welcome you to our Elevation Awards Showcase. This is for our sixth cohort. And today, yes, applause. You all will have the opportunity to hear from all of these leaders, and they will be able to share their stories, talk about their program. Throughout this program, you will hear a piece of our work, a piece of this journey. We also have an excellent artist who will be performing, so there's an opportunity to hear that. But this is just our chance to really acknowledge and share the hard work that all of these leaders are doing now and continuing to do. I'm very proud of them and their success. So thank you again for joining us. And then I would like to give special thanks to our donors, our supporters, our staff, our friends and our family who have all been a part of this 10-month journey, especially those who we're here to support all of these leaders and entrepreneurs through their work. I know that 5 p.m. calls every month and check-ins with me was probably not the easiest, along with all of the work that they had to do to keep up with this program. And that's just like baseline. That's on top of the work that they had to do for their particular programs. So I know none of that was easy, and I appreciate all of the friends and family who were able to help throughout this journey. I would like to take a couple of minutes and let our director of programs say a couple of words, and then we will get the opportunity to hear from our keynote speaker, Mr. Lonnie Walker.
Welcome, everyone, and congratulations. Thank you so much, Jennifer. I just want to give thanks to a couple of people. So first of all, welcome everyone to Baltimore Core Elevation Awards 4th celebration of our cohort for Elevation awardees. We are so happy and excited for you to be here. We're also excited to support at this point now a little bit over 40 social innovators in Baltimore City. So that is a big win for us as we head into almost our 10th year of celebration at being Baltimore Core. The opportunity to support Black and Brown leaders who are living in and working in and doing community work specifically for Baltimore City is near and dear to really the core of who we are, the essence of Baltimore Core. And so to be able to partner with you in this journey and to partner, like I said, with almost 40 innovators in this journey has just been an amazing experience and something that we do not take lightly. And so the support that we've been able to offer, the thought partnership, the opportunities that we've been able to launch on to next things like Echoing Green and Open Society Institute and just other bigger incubators, like being able to support individuals and having access and a pathway to that is just exceptionally near and dear to our heart. And so I thank you for letting us be a part of your journey and for the innovators who have come before you and have allowed us to be a part of their journey. I always like to start this conversation with a deep, deep thank you to you all, and then a deep, deep thank you to Jennifer. Because without Jennifer, this just could really not be possible on the magnitude that it is. And This is an organization where we give praise and admiration and credit to where it's due. And so Jennifer has made monumental waves and being able to connect innovators to funding opportunities, being able to connect innovators to social capital opportunities, and then ensuring that no matter what stage you came in as an elevation awardee, no matter what year you came in as an elevation awardee, that there is a strong connection, a strong relationship into seeing the work that people want to see in Baltimore get done. And so many hats off to the work, the thought partnership, the hours, the connections, the emails, like everything. Many hats off to Jennifer for really making that happen for you all, and also making that happen for people who we consider very, very dear alumni and comrades in this work that we do at Baltimore Core. Like I said, this is our fourth cohort of awardees, and it feels very, very, our fifth cohort of awardees, I should say. I'm sorry. So this is very, very near and special to us. And so I'm grateful that once again, that you guys have been able to be a part of our journey. But on top of that, I'm also very inspired by the work that is to come and the things that are to happen in the next couple of years. The pandemic has all put us in a very special and unique place. Some unique places of hardship, some unique places of challenges, and some unique places of really rising to the occasion. And it is wonderful to be a part of a community of people who, despite everything that is going on in the world and the effects that it's having on us in our communities and in our city, there's still this call, this innate call to action to really step up and figure it out. I feel like on a day-to-day basis, we are figuring it out. And so to work with innovators who aren't just concerned about themselves, who aren't just concerned about their families, but concerned about issues on a really big level, to commit to each day figuring out for your community and figuring out to your city, it's magnanimous. And so with this fifth cohort of elevation awardees and almost 50 actual innovators, it's a really great opportunity in the midst of chaos to see the work that's been done, to see the actual intentional dedication and strategy and connection and community and thought partnership that has happened as we head into pandemic 2.0. And so I just want to say once again, thank you to you all. Thank you to Jennifer for your leadership in this space. And as Baltimore Core continues to do the good work moving forward, I am so happy that we are a part of a community of innovators who are also, no matter what is happening, being agile and being courageous and really stepping into leadership to move things forward for our city. So thank you, everyone. It's a Wednesday evening, and thank you to you all.
Thank you, Tam. Those were some very inspirational words. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Now I have the opportunity to introduce Mr. Lonnie Wayne Walker. So Lonnie was from our third cohort, and that cohort, one was my largest cohort, so it was a lot of them. And then also during that cohort, we were transitioning away from our fiscal sponsor, which made some things throughout the process a little harder. But Lonnie was there to hold me accountable and held my feet to the fire and was on me almost every other day. It was a moment where I at times had to put my phone down and have a talk with Jesus, and then pick my phone up and say, okay, Lonnie, how can I help you? What can I do for you today? But that is only because he is so passionate about the work that he does and so passionate about the people who he works with. And it's not limited to people who come through his organization. His organization is Joy Baltimore. It is a matter of, if he sees you in the streets and you walk up to him and you ask him, he is one of those people that will help you right then and there. Like, he is that person to give you his all, like his last dollar or whatever resources he has right then and there in order to help you. And that is the kind of person he is. That is a commitment that he has had within the city for the past 20 years, even though he is from Brooklyn. He's been in Baltimore for 20 years. So I guess he's kind of a Baltimorean, kind of, just a little bit. But he is that committed to his community and the community of Baltimore that he gives so much, no matter the day or the time he is there. He has some of the best events. So if Lonnie invites you to anything for his organization, it will be done, and it will be done well. He's extremely giving. There's always some sort of like giveaways or give backs to the community, book pack drives, like during Thanksgiving. It's huge celebrations where people come and they are able to eat and to party and to walk away feeling really wonderful. If they didn't have a place to go to for Thanksgiving, then joining a Joy Baltimore Thanksgiving is like joining one of your family celebrations. It's really like that kind of I won't say party, but it's one of those events, right? And basically anything at any point, like he has a drop-in center for students. And again, back to the fact that it's like he works with youth. But if you need help or support, Lonnie is there for you. Even this year, I tasked my alumni with being mentors. So this was something that I added on top of their like everyday work. And Lonnie showed up and he was like, all right, well, what do I have to do? And what do I need to be able to provide and give to them? And it wasn't just limited to the people that I assigned to him. At some point, he was like, well, I want to throw a party for everybody in this cohort. And I was like, we in the middle of a pandemic. I don't know if these people vaccinated. Like, we got to wear masks. Like, I can't be asking them to go to no party for you. And he was like, okay, that's fine. You do what you want to do, but I'm going to throw this party and they're going to show up. And that's like, I don't need your permission kind of situation. And that's just who he is. And it's also a matter of, if you guys were to go to him and ask him for something, then he'll put you in connection with whoever he needs to put you in connection with. He's not selfish around sharing resources. He's not selfish around making those connections or bringing you along for the ride or creating some sort of partnership. Earlier, when we were just talking, Michael said that he's adding girls to his program, and Lonnie was like, ooh, it's some competition, but not like that, right? Like, Lonnie's not that kind of person. Lonnie's the kind of person that's like, oh, we need to have some sort of event for like back to school night or something like that, where we can get your group together with my group together and then raise enough funds in order to support all of them. And with that, I mean, I could go on and on and on and talk about him, because he really is a good person. And again, back to the accountability, he is and continues to hold me accountable. And I'm grateful for that type of partnership. So at this point, I will let Mr. Lonnie Wayne Walker share some words and tell you his story. He doesn't call it his story, he calls it his journey, his walk, his life with you all this evening. So thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I don't even know what to say after all of that. I'm ready to just drop the mic and be like, hey, it's done. She said it all. I am so humble for what you just stated and what you said. I honestly don't know how to follow that up. I'm going to do the best I can. I am very nervous, everyone. I've been talking about this keynote speaking for the last month to people because I am not a keynote speaker. I am too blunt. I am too direct. And some things I might say, y'all might not want to hear, but I'm gonna pull it off. Good evening, fellow Baltimore Corporate Elevation awardees and alumni and staff. Thank you for choosing me this year to be the keynote speaker. You've made it 9 long months of virtual learning. And I've been on some of those virtual learnings and it wasn't packed. So that means everybody didn't do the 9 months. And so we had to do in person. And it was a rough in-person meetings, but we made it there to every last one. I'm going to come today from 4 different points: winning, faith, fear, and humble. Winning, faith, fear, and humble. Winning. Family League gave me $20,000 to do a community event. BHSB gave me $57,200 on communities that care. BHSB gave me again $57,200 to do an event on communities that care. BHSB once again gave me a $50,000 grant to do a life skill program. Winning. BHSB also gave me $22,000 to do a suicide prevention program. And then today, BHSB gave me $103,500 to do a life skills workforce development program from now to June 30th, 2022. But all of that would not have been possible without the first $10,000 from Baltimore Corps. And when I tell you, it wasn't the first time I applied. It was my second time that I applied. And when I got the email, I was in the kitchen eating some bacon, people. And I remember opening up my email. I probably screamed to the top of my room. I probably screamed and my sister thought something happened to me. And it was just a shock to see that, hard work pays off. And that started the journey. And I never forget speaking to Jennifer, and she said, well, both your programs were chosen, but you can only speak about one. Speak about one, that's not good for me, because I'm passionate about everything that I do. And so I literally came dressed to my 3-minute pitch, 3 minutes, not 4, y'all, 3 minutes, in a Boy Scout somewhat uniform and a billboard with everything that Joy Baltimore and BMU does. Because at the end of the day, I was not going to tell you what Joy Baltimore does. I'm going to tell you what we both do, what both of our programs do. And I pitched it, and I was nervous as heck. I had handouts and everything to give to the people, because I always believe you want to leave people with something so they remember you when you leave. And if they got something in their hand that says Joy Baltimore, they will remember me. So when you work hard and you're passionate about your work, you are winning. The money means nothing. When you work hard and you are passionate about your work, you are winning. You see, we all have ideas, but it takes courage to get out here and win. That's what you want to ultimately do. You want to ultimately win, but it takes a whole lot of courage to get out here and win. We all have done. You are winning. You guys are winning because you are wise in knowing your vision. You are intelligent enough to push it through. Never give up. Please do not give up, even when the road is darkest. I started this being homeless. And so I would say never give up, never feel defeated. Because there were many times I had conversations with Jennifer, and I was like, this is hard, it's not easy. You have any advice for me? And as she said, I held her accountable, is because Jennifer came into Baltimore Coast, she turned it around. She turned it completely around. Because my cohort, what I tell you, was the gossiping cohort, and the cohort that was like rebels without a cause sometimes. And so I had to be that guy like, Jennifer, look, we Black people, we got to be one step further and one step ahead. And she turned it around under the direction of Karen and Ms. McFarland and then Fagan. Jennifer has turned it around, and she wants the best for all of us. Fear. Forget about your naysayers. Forget about them. Express your needs and wants. Because when you express your needs and wants, you will get them. You will accept responsibility for your work. I can't tell you about anybody else's work, but I can tell you about what I do. I can tell you about what I do, and I can show you what I do. Receive all the blessings you have earned. It took me a long time to welcome in blessings. I am very shy. I am very shy to a default. And if I'm not talking about Joy Baltimore, I am in a shell. I am literally in a shell. And so Joy Baltimore brings out the shyness in me, and it allows me to communicate the way I do with people. My faith have gotten me to where I am today. I never let fear control my faith. Do not allow fear to control your faith, because if fear controls your faith, you will not be able to move forward. And I want you all to move forward. When you believe in yourself and what you're doing, faith will always outweigh your fear. So I was at church yesterday because I had to go to a funeral yesterday. And it was just crazy because I was trying to figure out what was I going to talk about today, what was I going to do. But my bishop said yesterday at the funeral that I went to, he says, never allow your burdens to block you from your blessings. Never allow your burdens to block you from your blessings. And trust me, if I had allowed my burdens of being homeless, being without, sleeping from pillow to post, couch surfing, to block me from my blessings, we would not be here today. I had to stay strong. I had to hold my head up high. I had to keep it pushing. I had to keep it pushing. But last but not least, humble. And I share that word with my youth. Humble is the hardest pill to swallow. It is the hardest pill to swallow because most people think that they're owed something. Yeah, we say 40 acres in a mule, but we didn't get those 40 acres in a mule. So what are we willing to do? And what are we willing to sacrifice to make up for those 40 acres in a mule? When you humble yourself, you will win. And I started with the wins because I wanted to brag about who I am and what I was doing. But that didn't happen automatically. I had to humble myself. And so the wins didn't come without being humble. And when I allowed myself and I submitted myself over to the one and only God, that's when it all began. It all began, the things start coming. And I never allowed my problems to steal my praise. Never allow your problems to steal your praise. Because trust and believe, there were times I had nowhere to sleep and I was doing this business. I had no food to eat. Friends put me up in hotels. Board members quitting because the money wasn't coming fast enough. Now wanting to come back because they see what we're doing. And my thing is, if you can't ride the train when the train ain't got no energy or no fuel, don't ride the train now because we fueled up. Don't ride the train now. I'm good. 5 years ago, we had no money, no major support, but we never gave up. But we never gave up. We were out here working with nothing. So I say, Elevation Awardees, this is the beginning of a new day for you. This is your beginning. This $10,000 can go a long way if you work it to where you need to work it. Stay connected to Jennifer. Trust me, stay connected to Jennifer. Pay attention to those emails because it's worthwhile to apply for the things that you can apply for. I just recently put my application in for OSI. I just recently put my application in for Echoing Green. And I've seen fellow Elevation Awardees and friends of mine who have received those things. So my thing is, hey, if they can get it, I can get it too. I'm one step closer because I rode the train with them. And we're reaching back and we're giving back. And so when you step out on faith, it will outweigh your fear. And when you humble yourself, you will win. Congratulations, Elevation Awardees. You finished, you made it. Be blessed, continued success. I love you guys. It has been a whirlwind of possibilities. Let's continue to change communities here in Baltimore. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Fagan. You've helped me to raise the bar. Remember, awardees, you are the change here in Baltimore. And if we want to see Baltimore change, we have to be the change agents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Those were some really powerful words. I appreciate it. I think you did a good job of just speaking your truth and telling about your experience. And I took away wins don't come without being humble. It's really hard for people to humble themselves, but you can't let that stop you from your path. So thank you again. Now is the opportunity that a lot of you all have been waiting for. I now have the privilege of introducing Cohort 5. They have worked really hard. I need to say that again. On top of them just like working hard and trying to figure out how to start a program, a lot of them were like figuring that piece out because they weren't doing programs. That's one piece. Two, they were figuring out how to continue to run programs during a pandemic, and just like trying to figure out how to find funding and do those pieces. That's another piece. And two, like we were all virtual. Like I've never met these people. Well, I did meet Michael in person one time and he was like, I don't know who you are. I was like, I'm Jennifer. Like, like we see each other on Wednesday. Like, it's like, okay. I've never met anyone like in person. Hopefully the day will come when I will actually be able to like meet you all in person and like stop by your programs and cheer on for like Dawn, her young ladies, for Queen, those who are working through like workforce development and learning of skills, Mike with his young men and his young women, Dante, I'm gonna get a chance to like bring in some glass and watch it be like blown into like certain pieces of art. I'm gonna have that privilege. For Kizzy, we're gonna go to some town hall meetings. I'm gonna push back and say this isn't who I elected. This is not what I want my money to do. And Ross Trey, I'll get a chance. I don't know, I'm not really a griot. Like I don't really tell a good story, but I will come observe your students tell stories. So hopefully one day we'll have that privilege to do all of that one day very soon. So yes, all those things. And now you will get a chance to meet our awardees. The first awardee that I want to introduce is Mr. Michael Battle with the Rich Program. And I will let him speak.
Is it on me, Jennifer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, again, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Battle. I'm the Executive Director of Rich Restoring in the City Hope. And here our mission is to love, inspire, empower youth and families throughout the city of Baltimore. We work with middle school and elementary boys and girls now. We have a workforce development that we work with the parents as well. We believe in if you work with the children, invest in the children, but send them back into the same environment, what have we accomplished? So we try to work with the family as a whole. So we teach them etiquette, conflict resolution, STEM, a few other things that we teach them. And we lead with love and we be consistent with these kids. So that's pretty much what we do. We're gonna do the same thing with our girls program that will be launching this Tuesday. My classmate, Don Kennedy, will be leading our STEM program with that. So we're excited about that. Yeah, and that's what we do. We provide a safe environment for children to be children and learn at the same time. So that's what we do.
Thank you, Mike. I just want to acknowledge that he has taken time out of working with his kids in order to present to us today. So that's why he's like walking and had to step away from them. So thank you. And also I do want it to be noted that for everyone, if anyone is interested in volunteering or speaking with any of our participants, please reach out to me. I'll be able to provide you all of their information around email addresses so that you can contact them yourself. Our next person is Miss Dawn Kennedy with STEAM While Sewing.
Hello, I have a presentation.
Okay.
I don't know if we don't have enough time, but
you should be good. We're actually a little ahead of schedule, so you're good.
Okay. So do I have control or what's going on?
You should be able to share your screen.
Okay. All right, I gotta figure this out. So give me 1 second.
Come on, Miss Steam.
And hold on, because I gotta make sure y'all can hear it.
Okay.
I I don't know if I'm gonna have time to play my video, so we'll see with that. You said I should be good though.
Yes.
All right, can you guys see this? Y'all
Yes.
good? Okay, good. So thank you all. And by the way, Jennifer, I've met you twice because this is my third time applying. And this is my first time winning. Okay, so I've seen you in person a couple of times. My program is entitled STEAM While Sewing. And with STEAM While Sewing, I created this program because right now in the world, STEAM careers are increasing rapidly, but it's not enough diversity within those careers, especially when it comes to our brown and Black women. So in order to fill these roles, STEAM While Sewing has created a program that will ignite passion in brown and Black girls to pursue those STEAM careers through fashion design and sewing. Okay. Now, what we do, like I said, we ignite passion in brown and Black girls to pursue STEAM careers through sewing and fashion design. We also give you the opportunity to learn the life skill of sewing while adapting the components of electrical engineering. And when it comes to that electrical engineering, they're able to tap into e-textiles, which are also called electrical textiles. So in my program, they learn how to use conductive wiring. Well, I'm sorry, conductive thread, which is like the electrical wires that wire our lighting and electricity within our homes. They also learn to use conductive tape. They are using LED lights and batteries in order to create circuits. I also, when I get a little deeper with them and I have more time, I am able to teach them how to code some of the things that they are using to light up, whether they clap or they stomp or, they hit a switch, it might change a light. And then within the program, what I like about it the most is that it allows them to become engineers, creators, and scientists in order to complete their projects. And then some of these projects, they need to collaborate with one another. So they're creating a community within their projects that they do together. So how did we fare throughout this session of Elevation? Well, I really appreciated it because it pushed me to do something. So on August 14th, I held a one-day event, and within here, Baltimore City, and where I'm located, where my office is. And my goal was to get 10 girls. 12 girls actually registered, but 8 girls showed up, which I thought was a great number for me to just be putting it out there in less than a month. And we were able to get the girls to come. I was very nervous because I did something similar to this maybe 2 years ago. But this one was different. It came from a different place. It came from a very confident place that I had, and I just saw the vision and I wanted it to come to life. So the results was that the girls really loved the experience. Now how it went with that event, they did an experiment first, a science experiment. And we broke it down about the science experiment, and it was fun and it was edible. And then we moved on to do, I taught them about how a circuit worked. So they used conductive tape to use a LED and a corn battery and saw how it worked. And then I taught them how to hand sew, just to do a running stitch. And then after that, they were able to make face masks that had LED lights on them using the conductive thread. And it was challenging, but it was fun. So when I saw that they were very into it, they were very engaged, and that they actually set out their mouths how much they loved it, it really touched my heart. Another thing that they said was that it was the best thing they had done all summer. So because of this, I was able to actually, somebody in Capitol Heights called me, and she also teaches just sewing. And she was like, Dawn, you got to bring this down here. So because of that, I've booked 2 sessions in Capitol Heights, Maryland, to work with some brown girls there, and that's completely booked. So I'll be working with 24 girls November 13th. And after this, I also, built up the courage again, and I pitched myself to Baltimore City Parks and Recs, or Recs and Parks, to become one of their vendors. So that was another thing I did this summer. I actually participated in a 7-week summer program with them, and I was at 2 locations. I was at Lakeland and Patapsco, and the thing about Patapsco, which is right in the area in which I live, which is Cherry Hill, Patapsco Recreation Center was not being used at all. So when I got there, people, we were drawing more kids. Now I started off with 7 boys. So, you know, my program is geared towards girls, but hey, bring those boys in here. Let me show them something. So they were very excited about learning the different components of the electrical engineering, and we were able to make bookmarks. So that was very successful. They loved the program, and those leaders at those programs definitely want me back if funding is secured, and especially BCRP, they want me back too if they get more funding secured. So what's next with STEAM While Sewing? Well, because I'm multi-passionate, as Jennifer and I always talk about, trying to control all the things that come up in my mind. I want to go further with this, and instead of having it under STEAM While Sewing, because I just didn't want to stick with just sewing, I have a vision of full steam ahead. So in full steam ahead, it has the components of STEAM While Sewing. It has the component of soldering hot, where I'm teaching the girls how to solder things. Like when you do a motherboard and a computer, how do you solder those units together? How do you solder those wires into there? How do you make things work and actually connect them the correct way so that they don't come apart? They have to learn how to use a soldering iron. So that's part of it. And then wood of beauty. I also make things like I made my dining room table out of wood. I think it's important that we teach our girls how to use tools. And then when they become that engineer where they're designing it and knowing how to cut and where to go with it, that's my whole vision with the offerings. Now, what it would be is it's a bus that I'm working on the courage of talking to the MTA to see if they have any buses available. And also we would tour Baltimore City schools for 3 months of the year. So my goal is 4 schools right now to start out with. So I may stay there for a couple of weeks and show up so that we can do the different offerings that I have here. And my preferences at this time would be middle school and high school, even some colleges. And when I'm not using the bus, I will rent the bus out to other STEAM programs to do tours with the schools. Am I still okay, Jennifer? I can't see you, so. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay. So right here, these are some of the pictures from our one-day event. So I had the girls put on their lab coats and their glasses, and you know, even though we wasn't doing anything that was blowing up anything, I wanted to, that was my icebreaker to get them in the mode, to get them ready, because a lot of them were coming because their mom made them come, right? So once we started putting on the lab coats and they put on that and they started doing the experiment, everyone were very excited. So when you see those sodas, those were part of our experiments. They was learning about the state of matter. Down here, you can see where they use the conductive tape to light the LED up and how they could tell which side of the LED was positive and which side was negative. And then right here is a mask a young lady made. And if you can see, she had one light in the middle. She was able to sew on a battery pack, which is hidden under her unicorn. And so from the battery pack to the LED light, and it has a switch that turns on and off. So this is my one-day event, which I really, really enjoyed, and so did they. And here is my video. My name is Dawn Kennedy, and I am the founder of STEAM While Sewing. I am an engineer by day and a sewist by night. STEAM While Sewing is a program that unites brown and black girls to pursue careers or entrepreneur journeys within the STEM field. What is the STEAM part of STEAM while sewing? Well, it represents science, technology, engineering, art, and math. With sewing being a life skill, it encompasses not only the life skill portion, but also the STEAM or STEM portion. Because you can become an engineer overnight, you have to use your math skills, you also use your art in designing things, and you use your science when you're figuring out the type of fabric that you're using for a project. We created this program so that kids can learn about the life skill of sewing and also learn how to adapt the components of electrical engineering within their fashion design. We hope that everybody enjoys this program and that all brown and black girls that are introduced to STEAM while sewing will consider going into the STEM field and pursuing those careers. My name is Dawn Kennedy, and I am. Okay. That's the end of my presentation. Anybody have any questions or comments? You may.
Oh, thank you, Dawn. That was really great. You got a lot of well, not questions, but comments in the chat session. You got a whole fan club. We are all about you and your work. So just know your EAs are here to support you.
Thanks, everybody. I'll be reaching out.
I hope so. All right. Next, we have Mr. Dante, who has Grass Baltimore. Really, really cool initiative. We actually don't get a lot of like environmental projects. So when he applied and he made it through, I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Let's see where this goes. And just like the passion and excitement he has about this is really like brought me to the other side. So at this time, I will let Dante share about his work with Grass Baltimore.
Whoops, I didn't realize I was still muted. Okay, great. Thank you for those kind words. Hi, my name is Dante Swinton, as she said, and I have a presentation that I did for like a webinar for Grass. I'm gonna use that. I'm just gonna like blow through that and hopefully give it like a greater idea of my vision for Grass Baltimore. So give me 1 second. Okay. So everyone should be able to see that. Yeah, so let's start with the basics here. Now, what's the deal with glass? Glass is an infinitely recyclable material, but only about 27% actually gets recovered nationally, and then maybe up to 15% in Baltimore. Now, why do I say maybe? I'll answer that here. Where can we take glass? When we talk about recycling, there's a big issue with the location of facilities that could actually handle this stuff. And for example, Baltimore County recycles its glass at a space that's like 4 hours away. And so we're not even handling, or Baltimore County is not even handling their stuff locally, which could create jobs. And so when you don't have that type of stuff around, you end up with a lot of situations where you're not going to be able to recycle that material. Most of the glass that we recover is collected mixed in a single stream. So like this guy with in the picture here, he's got the brown, the clear, and the green together. That mix is not valuable when you collect it together with other materials, or even as just glass and these different colors mixed up. It's not valuable. And in fact, that can contaminate other recyclables, and it limits their reuse options. And what you end up with is that landfills actually, let me see if this moves. There we go. All that glass ends up going into road construction and landfills because there's no real use for it, which is problematic. And so actually, nope, that's not what I meant to do. and disregard. Yeah, so real quick here, I may not be able to zoom in, but basically this is saying that like a lot of states have using glass as landfill cover or an aggregate for like road construction as part of their recycling rate, but it's not really recycling. So here in Maryland, for example, this is 52% if you include landfills and stuff for where glass goes, but it's actually really 27%. So you can see the big difference when you actually talk about real recycling versus kind of this falsehood of recycling, what we call downcycling. And so it actually costs more money to process stuff when you mix it up instead of getting it separated out into different colors. And you can see here, clear glass, pretty valuable, $50 a ton. You got your amber, your brown, that's 35, even green still has some money. But when you mix it all together, you're not getting that value. And when you choose to upcycle, you're actually going to get a reduction in energy usage. So everyone knows more and more folks are realizing the impact of climate change. Baltimore is one of the cities that's going to have a serious impact with increasing temperatures. Obviously, we've seen a number of code red days at schools. It's only going to get worse if we don't actually become more active about fighting climate change. And one of the ways of doing that is to reuse material like glass, for example, to reduce the energy that we need, which lowers the CO2 that we put out. So jobs, jobs, jobs. When we talk about waste management here in the city, we've got that big incinerator. It's our largest polluter in the city. We're trying to shut that down. If you incinerate, you get about 1 job per 10,000 tons of material. You get about 4 to 6 jobs for landfilling. But if you recycle, you're going to get about 36 jobs. And then if you reuse and remanufacture stuff, that's 300 jobs. So just think of the impact of going in this direction versus staying where we currently are, which is landfilling and primarily incinerating the stuff that we throw out. All right, so Intergrass Baltimore. The heart of it is basically that we're going to have a couple of businesses in the Hamden area, and we're going to provide drop-off services for Hamden and Woodbury residents and anyone else that wants to drop the glass off at the site. And it's going to be a co-working space, so that way local and traveling artists that do artwork, what have you, they can sell their work and perform their work at our space as well. And so this guy is going to come by about twice a week and pick up glass weekly from those restaurants. Like I said, the services will be ongoing in Hamden and Woodbury. That's where the site is. It was one of the cheapest places I could actually find for rent. I'm still trying to lock it down, but so many sites around the city were just like 60, 80,000 a year. And like, it's going to be difficult raising that kind of money just for rent. But yeah, we're going to pick that stuff up weekly. The artists in training will take the glass in, they'll clean off the wrappers, get the adhesives off, all that stuff. And then we're going to be transforming that work into new pieces. So whether it be cups, plates, vases, artwork like this, a little flower dragon thing going on here. But it'll be a new skill that folks can develop while working at Grass. And like I mentioned, we'll have space for folks that are Bob Rosses in the community. Do they make sculpture? Do they make jewelry? Do they play music? All these things will be able to be held at our event, and we'll offer that space for rent and get a commission off of that. So that way we can provide funding for Grass as well. And so we're going to have 6 employees, myself as the GM/project lead. We'll have a lead glass artist, 3 artists in training, and a hauler. And at least the artists in training and the hauler are going to be 18 to 35 youth of color from Westport. That's the community where the incinerator has been located for the last 36 years. At least a 13%, if not more, unemployment rate. I believe it's like 25 to 30% family poverty rate in the community. And so it's pretty high. So what we want to do is make sure that folks of color are going to have access to zero waste businesses. And this is one way to do that. Because if we actually made a 70% recycling rate in Baltimore, we're at like 15% overall, then we could actually have 1,800 new full-time jobs in the city. So think about the impact of 1,800 families having new living wage jobs simply because we're recycling and we're composting and we're reusing rather than throwing stuff out and incinerating it. All right, so like I said, this is our site in Hamden. We may consider other co-working spaces. We're trying to lock it down. A couple of hiccups in terms of insurance and what have you. But the great thing about it is that it's just a short walk from the light rail station in Woodbury. And so workers in Westport can just hop on the light rail, stop there, and come up to work every week. So that way there's an easy way to commute rather than having to drive up to that part of the city. And then after 2 years of employment, the workers can actually acquire an ownership stake. They'll split it with the parent nonprofit that I work for, Energy Justice Network. And that's way they'll not only be developing this skill set of being able to blow glass, being able to collect and learn about the importance of diversion and run these events where folks are lifting up their other artwork. They'll also be able to have a stake in the ownership and direction of a new business in the city, which will make it another small Black business here in Baltimore. All right, so revenue streams real quick. Yeah, so we're going to primarily have transform bottles. So as Jennifer mentioned, getting that glass from the restaurants, turning it into cups, plates, vases, and the like. We're going to see how many bottles we can keep intact during this collection process. And then if we can keep enough intact, we'll actually start selling those to local breweries as well. So that way they don't have to get their glass from other places around the country. They can just get some of it from us. We'll have glass working classes so folks can come in. They'll be able to look at the process, do a little bit of the process, and even take a piece home with them. We'll have the unaffiliated gallery program. That's the artists I mentioned that would be coming and selling and performing their work. Any other glass artists could use our equipment to do their work. There's actually not many studios in the city right now for glass work. So having another one will allow for more folks to be able to do their work, sell their pieces, things like that. And then we'll also try to get a little funding from the glass collection to try to recoup money from picking up the glass from the restaurants. All right, so yeah, my advisor team is a good collection of folks. There's a Baltimore Roundtable for Economic Democracy. Helps a lot of orgs and projects that are trying to develop cooperatives here in the city. So Emily and Nia are awesome humans who have been helping me out and getting this stuff put together. Danielle Rutenberg is a co-founder of a business that basically runs like this in Philadelphia. And so she's been guiding on what equipment we'll need, all that stuff. And then Neil's a great guy out of DC. Who helps cities register the need to move toward more zero waste sustainable policies to create all these living wage jobs I was talking about. All right, so every day I'm fundraising. Now, the goal for GRASS is to raise about $215,616 for the first year. We've gotten to 35,000 so far, and like Lonnie said, that 10,000 from Baltimore Core can go a long way. I'm going to be using that to run part of this proof of concept that we're actually just about to launch. I've got a studio in Southeast Baltimore that's willing to take some of the glass bottles in I'm going to have and make some initial pieces, some prototypes. So that way we can show, hey, you know, we've got the proof that not only can we collect the glass, we can sell these pieces. And both Baltimore Roundtable for Economic Democracy and Innovation Works have been wanting me to do a proof of concept. And if once I do that, I should be able to have access to some potential loan funds to get GRASS off the ground by February. So I'm excited about that. And this was from the webinar. You could always donate to us at any point, let me know. But that was from there. And definitely lifting it up on social media. We're at facebook.com/GrassBeMore. We're also on Instagram and at GrassBeMore. And so, yeah, we're really excited about it to build out the idea of economic justice and environmental justice together, because I think a lot of folks have just not really thought about that. Like we think about Amazon's coming in, we think about all these other larger businesses, but in actuality, if we just moved ourselves to a more sustainable structure of managing our waste, then we would be able to create so many more jobs. So like, it's not only glass, it's like getting your cans and getting your plastic bottles redone. It's getting your wood waste and yard waste and things like that to create more composting sites. There needs to to Dawn's point, getting more medals and getting folks to learn about electronics and the like, to be able to fix your iPhones and everything like that. Like, these are local zero waste policy job ideas that so many businesses could come out of that are small or medium sized. And so that's what we're trying to do with GRASS. And so I'll stop there. Thank you, Jennifer.
No, thank you so much. This was a great presentation, and now I think more people are aware of your work and what you are doing. Certainly we'll pass this information along. And there's an Elevation Award connection in there because Emily with Mirror Kitchen Collective, one of her partners, Lillian, who moved away, but I guess still is always a part of it, was a former Elevation awardee. So small.
Well, that's awesome.
Yes. So now we have Miss Nikki, and she is doing puzzling disorder. Her work is straight from the heart. Her story is awesome. I hope she gets a chance to share it today because it's a really great story about why she's even doing this work. It speaks to her passion around this work. And then just her as a person, it's been really great having the opportunity to interact with her and for her to see like how much she can achieve and just like believing in herself. I think in the beginning she was like, oh, this is an idea and something that could work. And like throughout this process to like see her grow and to see her like really like grow the work that she's doing and really like believe in it, like even more, like gradually it grows and grows and grows, has just been a really exciting thing. So at this point, I will turn it over to Miss Nikki for puzzling disorder.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually going to do a PowerPoint presentation so I can share my screen. Okay, can everyone see everything okay? You just thumbs up if you can. Okay, awesome. Eric Parsa. On January 19th, 2020, police officers were informed that a severely autistic teenager was having a meltdown after leaving laser tag. 9 minutes and 6 seconds later, he stopped breathing. He was suffocated while being restrained by New Orleans deputies. Lyndon Cameron. Lyndon's mom called 911 when he ran from home in the middle of a meltdown. He was 13 years old. He had Asperger's syndrome. He was shot 11 times. Oscar Guzman, a 16-year-old teenager with a bright smile. He had the mental capacity of a 5-year-old. He was severely beaten by Chicago police for what officers described as resisting and non-compliance. Roman Harris. On December 23rd, 2020, the day before his 16th birthday, in the midst of sensory overload and a meltdown, Roman ran through this wall. His mother called 911. Prior to entering his home, officers saw a sticker that read autistic resident. His mom briefed them on triggers and the best way to de-escalate his meltdowns. Upon arrival at the ER, she was able to provide nurses and staff who were familiar with him a list of accommodations that would make his visit less traumatic. This visit resulted in a pediatric evaluation that led to residential school placement, where Roman is thriving, making friends, and he comes home to visit just like his brother in college. These stories are just a few examples of how access to resources, proper training, and parents confident in advocating for their children can literally save lives. HGE Designs Company presents the Puzzling Disorder Project, art initiatives connecting the pieces for a picture of physical, emotional, and mental well-being for families supporting children with autism. So a little about myself. I am Nikki Stokes Harris. I am raising that superhero that ran through the wall. HGE Designs Company was created to answer a need for financial support to cover his care and therapy after his diagnosis. I am a certified Reiki practitioner. I have a 14-year career as a first responder with Baltimore City Fire Department and Police Department, and it has allowed me to witness on the front line the need for this project. I'm currently a member of the Autism Society of Baltimore. I've done work with Baltimore County as a panel member for procedural training on interactions with members of the autism community. And I'm also a member of several groups for the GBRICS program, which is designed to transform behavioral health crisis response in the Baltimore area. So some statistical data. The Autism and Developmental Disabilities Network have constantly noted the following. Black and Hispanic or Latino children face socioeconomic barriers that lead to a lack of or delayed access to evaluation, diagnosis, and service. Maryland's current rate of diagnosis is 1 in 52. And with the onset of COVID-19, children have limited or no access to sensory rooms and panels found in schools or doctors' offices. So how can we help? The Puzzling Disorder Project is an initiative focused on advocacy for the developmental needs of autistic children of color by connecting them to a network of peer advocates, licensed professionals, art therapy, alternative medicine, and de-escalation workshops for our first responders. The social impact of our program. We want to increase access and knowledge of resources to assist parents with obtaining diagnoses, offering services to families with limited financial resources, a measurable result of a decrease in hospitalizations, violent episodes, and unnecessary interactions with police. We want to support families and pediatric ERs with sensory products and specially curated spaces to make these hospital stays less traumatic, create community change through participatory approaches that promote advocacy, and to assist with the implementation of crisis intervention teams to ensure public health for our autistic community. In conclusion, the Puzzling Disorder is literally a rescue mission of love. It will allow our design company to make art that's impactful and supportive. And in addition to the art therapy component, this initiative will empower parents with the tools to confidently advocate on their children's behalf. And with more training and insight into our autistic community members, the accidental rate of which law enforcement uses deadly force can greatly be reduced. And that's it for the presentation. And I definitely, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I am so grateful for this program because literally, like Jennifer said, when I initially started, I was just like, yeah, I have this idea and that's it. I have this idea and I want to do it. And between my cohort members and my advisors, they literally sat down and explained to me, like, this is a real thing that people need. And so just this entire journey with my son has basically just propelled me to come up with all these ideas and all these ways to collaborate to make sure that our children are safe. And so I am forever grateful for it. And thank you all.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Again, very powerful, powerful story and work that you are doing. And I know this is just the beginning, so much more to come from you. So now we are transitioning into, we have a little musical selection where we have an artist, local Baltimore artist. Tam is going to introduce her and then she has the opportunity to perform for us.
Amazing. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Am I good to go? Okay, just checking. All right, hello everyone. I'm so just really in awe to introduce Morris Ebony as our musical presentation for the evening. Morris sent over a bit about herself and her artistry and her advocacy. But as someone who is a super fan, I just want to say that Morris Ebony has really set the tone for what advocacy and what advocacy for Black women and Black femmes nationwide, with a specific focus in Baltimore City, really looks like. And I'm very honored to present for her this evening and very excited for the presentation that she has for you all. You are definitely in for a real treat. So that was just a bit of my excitedness. But with no further ado, Amaris Ebony is a musician, performing artist, youth arts instructor, and radical activist, centering her work around the freedom, sensuality, and self-expression of Black women and girls, focusing on the marginalization, brutalization, and disparagement of Black women and femmes. Amaris Ebony has become a consistent leader of rallies and protests in alignment with the Say Her Name movement to rail against the culture of misogyny pervading our society today. With years of experience in cultivating spaces of spiritual empowerment and body positivity for Black women, she fosters growth and healing in the face of rampant misogyny. Further, in her years-long work as an arts instructor of African folklore and theater, she continues to bolster a new generation of self-actualized and empowered youth. Amaris Ebony's work has been highlighted in media outlets like WYPR, Mike, the Baltimore Sun, the Baltimore Beat, Baltimore Magazine, Be More Art, and now alongside Baltimore Core. I'm very excited for what is to come, and thank you so much for gracing us with your wonderful talents tonight. I will pass it over to you now, Amaris Ebony.
Thank you so much. That was so sweet. So in awe of this work, actually. Some amazing things that I got a chance to witness while still trying to get rehearsals and stuff kinked out. So wonderful to be here and to hear about all the amazing things you all are doing. Also, I'm going to be touching my soundboard a lot, so you may see me off screen a little, just doing that. But I'm totally here. I'm messing with mechanics over here. This whole Zoom situation has taught the musicians to do stuff a little differently. So I'll be fixing that on the side. So that's what you'll probably be seeing. I'm going to be doing a couple of tunes that you may or may not be familiar with, and I'm going to be just doing a slight remix to them and a slight acoustic version of them. So I'm so excited to give you all a little musical performance. Okay, so yeah, here we go. And I am accompanied by Chris Roa on guitar, super talented. So yeah, we're gonna give you a couple tunes. All right, is that cool? Is that cool?
Yes.
Yes, okay, purr, let's do this. Can y'all hear him good?
Yes.
Summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, the cotton is high. Oh, your daddy's rich and your mom is good looking. Hush now, little baby, baby, don't you cry. Hey, ooh, one your wings, you'll take to the sky, to the sky. Oh, but until that morning, nothing can harm you with Mama, Daddy standing on that. Hey. Da 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 da. Summertime, the living is easy. The fish are jumping, cotton is high. Daddy's fish, Mom is good, 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 good looking. Hush now, baby, baby, don't you cry, don't you cry, don't, Summertime, and the living is easy, y'all. It ain't summer no more, but well, it feels like it. Also, too, you know, thank you. I really appreciate seeing comments. It makes me feel good. So, you know, if you like that song, you know, please let me know in the chat. Yeah, summertime. All right. Let's go ahead on and get into that next groove, shall we? Oh, Miss Smith. Miss Smith was my teacher, y'all, in elementary school. So that's what, 5th to about like 7th grade. Yeah, it's so cool, right? The first one. Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so out of college, out of high school, working in my field. So that's something else, right? So good to be connected. And I love Miss Gray. They were my faves. So, so yes, here we go. Another fave of mine. Let's do it. Oh, pretend
pretend, stop living. Won't pretend I'm good at forgiving. But I can't hate you, though I have tried. I still really, really love you. Love is stronger than pride. I still really, really love you. I won't pretend that I intend to stop living. No, no. Won't pretend I'm good at forgiving. But I can't hate you, though I have tried. I still really, really love you. Love is stronger than pride. I still really, really love you. Sitting here wasting my time. Be like waiting for the sun to rise. It's all too clear, yeah. Things come and go. Sitting here waiting for you would be like waiting for winter. It's gonna be cold in the evening. Be slow. I still really, really love you. Love is stronger than pride. Ooh, I still really, really love you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Love is stronger than pride. I still really love you. Love is stronger than pride. I still really, 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 really love you. Love is stronger. Love is stronger than pride. I still really, really, I still love you, baby. I said love is stronger than pride. 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 I still really love you. Love is stronger. I feel my love is stronger than pride. I still really love you. Love is stronger. Stronger than pride. Stronger than pride. I still really love you, love you, love you. Stronger than pride. Love is stronger than pride. cry. I still really love you. Love is stronger than pride. Stronger than pride. Stronger than pride.
Thank you. Give some hand claps to Chris, who's over here to the side, you all. I know, right? See, we want to hear some real claps. Say hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
See, we're social distancing, you know? You know what I'm saying? You know? Woo! A little performance. Let's see. You know, let's speed it up a little bit. Let's go ahead on and speed it up a little bit. Yeah. Thank you so much, Dawn. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you, anyone who's commenting in the chat. We love it. We love it. Listen, we thought this part was over, right? The Zoom part. This was probably the most agonizing part of the pandemic for artists, performers, because we're like rocking it out in the living rooms. You know what I'm saying? With comments, like, and no, you know, if you've ever been to a concert, right? You feel that energy, like that connectivity with the audience. And this is low scale, so I have a guitarist today, but you know, sometimes I have a drummer, but the feedback from hearing a drum on a Zoom call is a lot different. So if you, unless it's pre-recorded, then it might be a different experience, but for the most part. So we're gonna play one of my favorite songs. Hope you all enjoy it. Keep it going.
They say I'm crazy, the way you got me open, baby. Ooh. They say I'm bucking, the way I'm top sweating your loving. Ooh. They all sit and wonder why this feeling I cannot hide. It ain't a question of pride. Ooh, it's love. They say I'm tripping, the way you got my heart right flipping. Ooh, they say I'm losing it, 'cause I can't seem to keep my breath, no, baby. We all cry when we feel shame. Love is gone, it's not the same. It ain't a question of right, baby. Ooh, it's love. Ooh, it's love. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. Love, 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 love. question of pride, baby. Ooh, it's love, baby. Ooh, it's love. Do you? Yeah. Do you want? Do you want to know your mission rich side? Do you want to know your candy sweet side? Do you want to know your pickle feast side? Hey. Do you want to know your mission, baby? Do you want to know your biscuit, baby? Do you want to know your black-eyed peas? Come on, give it to me. Yeah. Do you want to know your mission rich side? Do you want to know your candy sweet side? Or do you want to know your black-eyed peas? Come give it to me. Do you want to know your spices, baby? Do you want to know your biscuits, baby? Do you want to know your black-eyed peas? Come on, give it to me. Do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? Sweet love, sweet love. Do you want it? Give it to me. 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 Sweet. Do you want it? Give it to me. 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 Whenever, baby. Give it to me. Wherever. You put it down last night. Had me thinking about, dreaming about waking up alright. Do you want some collard greens? Do you want some fish and grits? Do you want some steak and chips? Have a night, go get it. But do you want it? Do you want it? Do you want it? Wherever, baby. But do you want it? it the way, baby? Is it the way that you love me? Is it the way that you love me? Yeah. Yeah, man. Little medley. Yeah. Thank y'all so much. Look, it's so funny. He's like, oh, come off camera. I can't see y'all. The horrid nature of Zoom. Okay. Yes. Awesome. So yeah, so how we looking on time? How much time do we have here? Are we good for where we at?
Oh, you going, Tam? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jennifer.
I was gonna say that we are at time.
Okay. Look at that. Perfect. 6:30. I just wanted to know if you wanted one more or it's all up to you.
I mean, it's hard to say no, right? It's so good.
No. Listen, I won't feel any type of way. I'm always trying to do things in decency and order. So listen, I'm fine if you don't.
I appreciate it. We are going to bring you back. I swear, every time there's an EA event, it's always something different. And this has definitely been like the difference that we needed. I enjoyed it. You have been great. Thank you so much for your time and for your energy. You set the tone for the next half of our EA. Definitely encourage you to stay so that you can hear what your former teacher is working on.
Please let me hear.
See, Ebony, I'm last, so you have to stick around the whole time for me. So we can get together. I'm pulling you in anyway. So put your community roots to work.
Yes.
Yes.
Share your information with everyone. Make sure that you drop it in the chat so that other people can, take advantage of this and hear your music. And yes, this has been great. Thank you.
I'm so happy. So I'm putting a couple things in the chat. So I'm going to put my collective, Say Her Name Coalition. So I put that Say Her Name Coalition is everywhere. So that you can type Say Her Name Coalition on Instagram, on just our website. So all across the board, Say Her Name Coalition. And then you have my website, morrisebony.com, for all the other stuff about me. So again, I have to, of course, thank, where's Miss Tam? Where you at?
Now she's on mute. Hiding now.
Tam, thank you so much for inviting me. I thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of you. Yes, please connect with me if anyone is interested in connecting. I really appreciate all of your energy and love, and it was beautiful. I'm going to go on mute and just enjoy the rest of the presentation. But thank each of you for having me. We really enjoyed it. And Chris is thankful too, wants to say hi.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Morris, Ebony, and team. I appreciate you and Chris for this moment. And I'm honestly just really excited for the work moving forward, because I feel like we got some more stuff to do with each other. So I'm very excited to have had this be our first opportunity.
Absolutely. And hope to see y'all in person at some point to do this the right way. Much love, y'all. Thank you.
All right. Wow. Good luck, Queen. You coming after that. So our next project is Miss Queen, and her project is the Squeegee Project. Queen has been awesome to work with. She's another person that definitely holds me accountable and is like, now what are we doing, Jennifer? okay, but what are you doing? And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna call, I'm gonna do this. And she's like, okay. So she's been great with that. And I know that so much more is going to come. She's gonna start her pilot and it's going to be excellent. So now I'm gonna turn it over to Miss Queen. You're on mute.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad I'm after the music, so everyone is chill, because it looks like my fellow elevators understood the assignment. So they came ready, and I'm first going to say a disclaimer. I'm in South Carolina, in sunny, warm South Carolina. Well, it's not sunny no more, but I'm in South Carolina, so I had two hats: bad hair day or free hugs. So I'm sending free hugs to everyone from Charleston, South Carolina. Oh, that's your home state, Dante? All right, let's go. All right, so should I share my screen? Let's see. Oh, my stuff isn't here. Can y'all see? Oh,
We can see you.
you can see me? Okay. Trying to share my screen, but I don't see my files here. Okay, white bug. All right, so maybe I'm gonna have to just talk because I can't see my.
Oh, there it is.
You see it?
Oh,
Oh, no, that's not it.
I see your screen, but I don't see what you're trying to present. Oh, I see it up here. You just have to click on the Squeegee project
There
right
we
there.
go. There we go. Can everyone see this?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let's start from
Yeah.
the beginning. All right. Can everyone see?
Close the side so that we can see that
Oh,
it has a full screen.
Can you see now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Monique Best, aka Queen. And my program is the Squeegee Project. We are a program that's not started, so I'm actually going to tell you guys what we're going to do. Okay, so when you hear Squeegee in Baltimore, Baltimore has Squeegee kids that's squeegeeing windows for $1, but they were my inspiration. But I would love to have them. But the Squeegee Project is actually a workforce development program for opportunity youth between the ages of 18 and 25. So we're going to teach them technology with the emphasis on new media. So a lot of people say, what is new media? New media is all forms of computer-based or web-related communication technology that is characterized by creative participation and interactive user interface. So that's a lot. So let me break it down. New media is newspaper articles, blogs, feature films, music, podcasts, anything that's delivered digitally. So a website, email, mobile phone, streaming apps, anything that's communication via the internet is considered new media. So we're going to teach technology with the emphasis of new media in the greater Southwest neighborhood. That's a dope community in the West Baltimore that's had a lot of disinvestment. And we want to bring positive programming to West Baltimore and to Baltimore. So the program is going to be about 10 to 12 weeks. We're going to teach pre and post production, equipment requirements, setup and maintenance of said equipment, software masterization of filmmaking per short documentaries and podcasting. And within the podcasting, we're going to take that a little further. We have dope platform in Baltimore called Black Box Radio. We're going to be able to platform these young people for a month, where every month where they can actually present themselves to the World Wide Web. They can present content, and they also can kind of talk to their own demographic. And also we get a little marketing off of that. So that's sweet. Then we're going to also teach drone collection. Drone collection is integral with new media because content is king and drones collect content. And once they're certified as a drone pilot, they'll have enormous opportunities as an FAA certified pilot. And also gaming proliferation. Gaming, everyone loves games, but the gaming industry is not a game. It is a $1 billion industry, and we want to teach young people that they can leverage their fun and the things that they do for fun for a career. And if they get more technologically proficient, they can actually make games, which has amazing outcomes if they can make their own game. So we want to move on to goals. Our ultimate goal is to have technology proficient community first young people. And we want to say, is that achievable? It's very achievable because we're going to present the technology. And 18 to 25-year-olds, they all have mobile phones. So 70% of what we're going to teach can be transferred to a mobile phone. They can actually utilize these skills on a mobile phone. So we're going to use something that they can use every day, which is a mobile phone. And so we're going to teach technology, create the cohort, create the community, whereas they can take these skills back to their community and make Baltimore a better place. So in Baltimore needs some of that because it presents with problems. And two of the biggest problems for Black people in Baltimore, 60% of the population, 12% of that population is from 18 to 24. And they're battling unemployment and low wage work. So that's also coupled with the violence and the chaos that we see in community. We want to bring viable program to Baltimore City and things that young people can do that can resonate and also build careers and bring better outcomes for our young people, which are our future. So enter the Squeegee Project. We're going to squeeze these information into young people where they can use as a viable career or a precursor for higher education, or it can further propel their entrepreneurship goals. The Squeegee Project will squeeze young people into nominal places that they would not be, and also into a technology sector that has a bereft of Black faces and Black voices. So that's the Squeegee Project. That's what we're going to do in Baltimore. On 11/6/21, we're having a focus fair. And that's a focus group of young people who we want to actually hear what they would like in a program in Baltimore when it's dealing with technology. And so we asked if anyone knows some young people who wants to be a part of a technology fair. We're going to do it at 11/6/21. It's from 11 to 2 on Boston Street. And you can get in touch with us at the Squeegee Project 21@gmail.com and be a part of this focus fair where we can collect information from our young people so we can build a viable program that they would want to be a part of. So that's all. That's the Squeegee Project. We want to thank Baltimore Core and Jennifer for this incredible opportunity to be in a cohort of social entrepreneurs who wants to change Baltimore and the world. To my mini cohort of Mama DE and kids, I just really appreciate you guys. And to the other elevators, you guys are awesome. What I've heard tonight, I am just so encouraged of what's going to happen in Baltimore. I want to interview each and one of y'all. Don't worry about that. And we need to have our little elevator interview, but I also want to partner with you guys to build a greater positive ecosystem for Baltimore. And we're out, the Squeegee Project. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm looking forward to this interview that we're going to be doing.
Yeah, we're going to do that interview.
Yes, great work. Next, we have Mr. Ross Trey. He's actually doing his work over in Ghana right now. And he sent over a video. So we're gonna play the video, but he's on screen now. So Ross Trey.
Yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself firstly and say greetings to the group. I'm really inspired by the work that everybody's doing. Can definitely feel your passion. And one thing I'm seeing in all these projects, we're all working with youth and really pouring our creativity into them. And so I think that that says a lot in itself. But yeah, because I'm here in Ghana, sometimes there's lags in playing video. So Jennifer, if you will, play the video, and then maybe I'll come back on and say a few words at the end.
All right. Okay. So Sid, can you go ahead and cue that up and play it for us? Oh, we can't hear.
One second.
Greetings, this is Ross Trey Subira presenting my project of African Youth Alchemy for the Elevation Awards. I'm not actually in Baltimore to make this presentation virtually with you all at the same time. I'm actually in Ghana, West Africa. And the work that I'm doing here is directly related to the mission of African Youth Alchemy. The mission of our organization is to develop urban youth of African descent, particularly as cultural ambassadors who utilize media, the arts, and travel study to educate themselves and the communities they serve. We particularly work with young people in the ages 16 to 24 and develop their professional film and photography skills and couple that with travel study to places that are strategic in the study and the exploration of the African diaspora. And our goal is at the end of the program for our young people to have gained the production skills to gain an entry-level position in a media firm, or even preferably for them to start their own business. And so our curriculum is very much so centered on the technical skills of film and photography, but also focused on the business development skills, entrepreneurship skills, and community development. Our young people use the film and photography projects that they produce to address issues of immediate relevance in their lives. And we've had young people produce projects on a range of topics, challenges with the Baltimore City school system, to exploring their own family history, to highlighting unsung heroes and sheroes of the community. Our work is centered on young people developing their voice, developing their critical thought, and developing their professional media development skills. Our program has culminated with us taking young people on what we call a journey of self-discovery to Ghana, West Africa, as a culminating capstone project. The goal of the journey is twofold. Number one, professionally, to help them develop a portfolio of film and photography that'll help them stand out from other Baltimore City photographers and filmmakers. But secondly, they have to focus their photography or film project on a particular subject that they're passionate about, and it relates to our experience throughout the African diaspora. During the fellowship period, we focused on strengthening our organization in two capacities. One would be our board development, and the second is our curriculum development. So in relation to our board, we have found ourselves in a cycle where we have been constantly chasing grant applications and RFPs as a way of becoming financially viable. And we'd like to change that, and we'd like to seek out development of our board, and particularly put on our board the responsibility of developing our professional contacts throughout the media industry, and particularly in education industry as well, so we can identify funders that share our values and seek to develop a relationship with them, as opposed to applying for various RFPs every time they come out. So in relation to our curriculum development, we have such a wide variety of projects that we've engaged young people in over the years, and we want to take the opportunity to update our curriculum to make sure it's reflecting some of our strongest points of advocacy and our stronger points of engaging young people. And so we plan to update our curriculum and also make it available online so that it can be downloaded for various school and community partners. In terms of what's next for the organization, as schools and community centers open up for in-person programming, we definitely would like to resume our traditional in-person programming. But we are really excited by the opportunities to do virtual programming. And as I said at the beginning, I'm particularly in Ghana, West Africa right now, looking to develop a virtual component of our work that allows us to engage and interact with youth audiences throughout the African diaspora. And so we're starting right here in Ghana, but would like to also do so throughout the South in the United States, and as well as in the Caribbean. I want to say thank you to Elevation Awards for their support during this period, and I look forward to continuing to partner with some of the other program providers and make Baltimore City a richer place for our youth. Thank you.
Where am I? Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get the video back up. One second. Okay, I'm having some problem getting my video back up, but just wanted to close by saying that I'm really, looking forward and excited about the opportunity to, through media, have our young people in Baltimore collaboratively produce media projects with young people in, throughout the U.S. and throughout the African diaspora, and use that as a way of kind of not just exploring our issues, but way of connecting and just drawing inspiration from our various commonalities and our challenges. And so with that, I'll close. I really appreciate the support from the Elevation Awards, and look forward to kind of continuing to partner with others, in the program. Like I said, you all are doing amazing work as well. And look forward to connecting in the future. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Rostrey. That video was amazing. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I do hope that others on this call get the opportunity to work with you, and vice versa, you get the opportunity to work with them, because everyone is doing such great work. Next, we have, excuse me, Miss Danette Edwards, and her program is Corona Days. And Miss Danette, like, she always such a knowledgeable person. And every time we had our calls, it was always like, she's doing like really great work and wants to like have this impact in Baltimore City, but she's always like, but I don't know anyone. But then she's like in the streets and she's meeting people and she's networking, and then she'll get on these calls and she'll say, well, I don't know anyone. And I'm like, all these people, like, use this network to start and to get this work going. And it definitely will happen, and it's already happening. So now is our opportunity to hear from you and for you to share about your work and your project.
Thank you, Jennifer. I don't know many people. I'll start by saying thank you to Jennifer and everyone at Baltimore Corps. I felt like when I applied, I was the most unlikely candidate to become an Elevation awardee. So I was really surprised that I was selected, because I had, and I know Jennifer's going to say, no, you do have, but I really did not have a community here in Baltimore. When I applied, I moved here during the pandemic, and I knew maybe 3 people in Baltimore City when I came. And of course, my work is working with the community, but I didn't have a defined community at that time. So, all right. So I'll tell you about myself, a little bit about the work that I was doing prior to the Elevation Award. It's Corona Days Professional Development Group. And the Days was, I created Corona Days in response to COVID-19. And I felt like we were all living in the days. I created it. I founded the organization in April of 2020. And at that point, we were still in the days. We really didn't know what was going on related to the COVID-19. We were worried about life, we were worried about livelihood, and we were kind of in the days. But I felt like even through that days, we could all come together and help one another. And I see I got a typo in there. And so CDPD is Corona Days Professional Development Group. And our mission of Corona Days is to increase marginalized and BIPOC groups access to employment opportunities and representation in the workplace by providing our members with free training, mentorship, and other resources. And of course, CDPD was created in response to record unemployment and underemployment rates stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020. And I just want to say that the workplace is however someone defines it. So we've helped I have now, my membership is about 8,000 people. And we help people with traditional work, which I call W-2 employment, or if people want to become entrepreneurs and work on self-employment. But that's what I do at Corona Days. But Corona Days, Baltimore City Corona Days is something not totally different, but it is different. So CDPD, Baltimore City CDPD, is a workforce development program for individuals with at least a high school diploma or GED. There's no age requirement, but that is definitely a requirement that our membership, that our clients would need to have a GED or a high school diploma. Our primary objective is to increase economic equity in higher skilled employment for Baltimore City residents. What we say we will do is that we will prepare participants for positions that meet or exceed median Baltimore City household income, which is $51,000 a year. And in my research, I think there's only one workforce development program that is touching median household income for Baltimore City residents, and that would be the biotech BTI. Others are striving to hit the living wage. And so we want to strive to hit the Baltimore City median household income of $51,000, which is different. It might be a bit ambitious. Right. So our program pillars are that we have 4 pillars, and one is traditional, not traditional, I'm sorry, it's career counseling, but career counseling with the basis on mental health counseling. You know, because people can't do their best if they're not feeling their best and they're not in the best space. Also, research shows that after 60 days of unemployment, people begin to experience anxiety, depression. People begin to have issues that actually affect their mental health and affect their ability to gain employment. So we have the career counseling component, where I have some people who are mental health professionals who have agreed to assist in that area. Then we have job training, which is tech-based job training, which I'll tell you a little bit about as I move on. And then the third is the course mentorship, which is not traditional mentorship. I believe that everyone has something to bring to the table. And so any participant in our program has something to give to that mentor that's going to be giving them something. And so that's why we say course mentorship. Some other programs call it peer mentorship, but we call it course mentorship, where even if you just have your GED and you've only worked in retail, there's something that you have to bring to that mentorship relationship. And we want both the mentor and the mentee to feel like they are both giving and receiving in that situation. And then the fourth is traditional career coaching and job readiness. All right. So, and I must say, we still playing in this program. Okay. Remember, I don't have a community in Baltimore. Well, no, I do now. Now that I became an Elevation awardee, I definitely have a very strong community, and it's growing daily. So you were right, Jennifer. And so baby steps, what have we done? One of the biggest things that I accomplishments throughout this, my time as an Elevation awardee, was that I have a commitment from an organization that's doing amazing work in Chicago, similar to the work that I want to do here in Baltimore City. It's called Rework Training in Chicago, and they take people from the South Side of Chicago and they get them into positions that have a average salary of $55,000. And their requirement is you just have to have a GED or a high school diploma. Many of their participants or their students have never had jobs or only had jobs that paid minimum wage. And so I love their curriculum. They've agreed to share it with me, and we're working on a partnership. However, even in that, I can't cookie cut and bring their exact program to Baltimore, because there's so many differences between Baltimore City and Chicago. There are some similarities, but there are definitely differences. So I have to tweak that when I get to that step to see how that program would work for us. Their program is 8 weeks. I already know that ours would be more somewhere between 10 and 12 weeks would be our program, but there are some other things. And then I have a partnership with South Baltimore Learning Center for Learners. So they are a GED program and an alternative. They have the National External Diploma Program, which I work with them outside of CDPD. And they have agreed for me to allow me to tap their learners for our program. So, you know, some of their learners who will get their GED and or their high school diploma, because their National External Diploma Program actually gives their learners a real Maryland State high school diploma. They've agreed to be a feeder for me when I get my program up and running and help me with my first cohort and even the possibility of space. So that's a good thing. I probably should have put this first, like the collaborations that I have with the other elevation awardees, specifically Queen, Monique Bass, and Miss Smith, Kizzy Smith. I've learned so much from the two of them, even though they always say they learn from me. I learned Baltimore, so much I didn't know about Baltimore, so much I'm still learning every day. They've also helped me to meet other people, and I'm also helping Monique. I'm partnering with her to support her focus fair. So that's going to give me an opportunity to really meet some people who might potentially want to be in my program as well, or are coming from the same neighborhoods of the people who may come to my program. So that has been an amazing experience, just connecting with them and working with them. So that's part of the baby steps, but I should have put that as big because that's probably the biggest thing that I've done. And then I have commitments from over 75 volunteers. Actually, it's more than that. It's over 100 who are willing to either facilitate trainings or to participate in virtual course mentorship. And I get that from, these are people who have already supported my organization, Corona Days Professional Development Group. And when I said I want to do something similar in Baltimore City, but a little different, you know, they've made commitments that whenever I get something up and running, they will participate and support as virtual training facilitators and mentors. Okay, so those are the few things that I've done. And my next steps is to continue to build those relationships with community organizations is really big. I know that I've made a lot of kind of connections and some stronger, but I need to continue to learn this community. I need to learn Baltimore. I'm originally from New York City. I know New York City very well. I know DC very well. I do not know Baltimore as well. And so I need to learn a little more. So I need to build some more relationships with community organizations. I also need to refine the rework training curriculum for Baltimore City Corona Days Professional Development Group. You know, they are giving me the curriculum. They are allowing me to use their licenses, which is great. But I know that program is not exactly what I can bring here to Baltimore City. And what I did leave out about that is the rework training program and curriculum is designed to get people entry-level tech sales positions, account manager positions, business manager positions, which are all account management, which are all tech positions, but they're within tech sales, with their customer service positions. I like it, but I don't know that that's all I want to do. And I'm not sure that it's the right thing for Baltimore City CDPD. So I need to refine that curriculum that they have. And they also get people, like when they say average salary $55,000, they've gotten people salaries of $86,000 a year with a GED and an 8-week training. Can I do that in Baltimore City? You know, like they have all these connections. And so I have to figure that out. I'm rambling, but I really I want to tap that resource. It's an excellent resource, but I want to tap it in a way that makes sense for Baltimore City. So I need to refine and rework that. Which then comes to the next one, is identify additional training opportunities. Like what else can CDPD offer? I want it to be tech-based because I know tech is the way of the future. It also is one of the only ways that I'm going to be able to reach that ambitious objective of getting salaries at or above median income is going to be something in tech. And then I need to identify possible businesses and corporations in Baltimore City to support and partner with. And so those are my next steps before I even begin to build out, it's 10 weeks, it's 12 weeks, and this is what it looks like. And that's what I got for you. But thank you, Jennifer, for seeing something in me and this idea, which, you know, changed a lot, but still pretty much the whole idea, guys, was that if Corona Days Professional Development Group online work, the virtual work that I was doing since last April worked, and it worked because I felt like everybody has something to bring to the table. And so people came and gave me free stuff because I asked for it, free training, free coaching, free scholarships, all kind of stuff for strangers. And I felt like if I could get people to do that virtually who did not know me and really move the needle, like, I mean, I got hundreds of people jobs, right? All over the world, literally all over the world. Like, why couldn't I get people in Baltimore City or people who have ties to Baltimore City to do that, to want to give something that they already have that could help someone increase their marketability, but specifically geared towards people who are in Baltimore City. So it's a lot of refining that I have to do. But I know if I did it virtually, people who don't know me, and I'll say this not to like toot the horn, but I did it virtually and it was recognized, you know, by the Business Insider. So last year, and I guess I can stop saying it now because it's been a year, but last year, this time I was awarded Most Innovative Career Coach of 2020 for that work. I'm not a career coach, but it was because we got so many people jobs, increased marketability, got so many people opportunities who would not have been able to get them if they didn't work with our organization or we didn't support them, all for free. So if I could do that for strangers, why can't I do that for my own community? Why can't I, why couldn't I be that cheerleader or that person that would want the average person who lives in Baltimore or the average corporation in Baltimore to say, hey, yeah, I do have a responsibility to give back to the people who live in this community. So that's it. That's Baltimore City Corona Days. We're in our baby phase. And I thank you so much, Jennifer.
Thank you. It'll happen. I have confidence in you. And you too have come far from like where you started and just believing in the project and the work that you're doing. So yes, it'll happen. Last but certainly not least, we have Miss Kizzy Smith with Engaged Baltimore. And Kizzy was like, whole time, she's like, there's a lot of stuff going on in Baltimore, and I'm going to teach the people how to advocate for themselves, right? Like, that's the whole premise, I guess. She's going to get into the premise of her project, but like, that's how she like broke it down for me. She's like, well, how do I start? And I was like, we're gonna take baby steps and like break this down and then work it out. Because one, you already have so many connections to Baltimore. So then it's a matter of leveraging your connections. And she's like, yeah, I do have connections and I am gonna do that. And then it's all sort of coming together. I'm excited to see what happens. Because the midterm elections are coming up. A huge amount of money just got distributed to Baltimore City. And I'm sure she's going to be in there and rallying the people to make sure, one, that money is accounted for and it goes where it needs to go. And two, that people know all the information that they need to know around these midterm elections. And any other pieces of information that they know. And I'm not trying to do your presentation for you, but it's really great work. So Kizzy is going to speak now.
All right. I am going to share my screen. And I am working on brevity as a skill. So we're going to practice that together tonight. How we looking? Y'all see my screen? All right. So let me go back. As Jennifer mentioned, I don't know, I like that we call her Jen. But as Jennifer mentioned, Engaged Baltimore is very new. What's her name? Mama D calls Danette calls hers baby phases. Mine is like zygote. So we are in, we have spent this year, this has been our planning year. And it's important, work that goes into that planning year. But the frustrating part about that planning year is, for me at least in this, is there's so many ways that this could have gone, right? So many avenues in which I could focus and recognizing the importance of all of it. and still trying to find my niche, the area in which I can be most impactful has been a challenge, I must say. I have been through several iterations of, my mission, vision, and process. And, that may continue to change. So, as we enter into a real election season. Yeah, that. All right, so the mission of Engage Baltimore is to provide an avenue and methodology to increase civic engagement amongst Baltimoreans. And so I left it a little bit vague because it's a mission statement, right? So there can be some vagueness there. I don't know if vagueness is a word, but I'm using it. So there can be some vagueness there, and it allows us to kind of pivot where we need to as we actually move into action. The vision, we will work to create an environment where Baltimoreans understand the process by which laws administrated and legislated come to fruition and are actively involved in proposing legislation, designing a collective I should have taken out the A, my bad. Designing collective expectations and holding officials accountable to the people they serve, which is the biggest bang for the buck. I feel like in Baltimore, I'm a native Baltimorean, and in Baltimore, there are thousands of people who don't see themselves as a part of the civic processes that govern us. And so there are multiple steps in which I feel like need to happen in order for people to really feel like they have a place here in the work. Instead of it being something that is put upon us, something that is given to us to digest. And we only get to participate when it's voting or protesting. There's so many places before and in between and after those engagement factors, right? So we want to make sure that that people understand what's happening and how our laws are actually set up. I actually attended we'll call it a podcast for lack of a better word, a podcast with Stephanie Smith and the brothers who are master barbers who work towards getting the new legislation where master barbers are allowed to have more trainees under them. And the story that was told, the brother Jabari was like, so I was sitting there and I was like, wait, it's a law. Wait, well, can the law be changed? And so the fact that someone actually has to have that thought is huge, right? So we want people to know that laws can be changed. Every single one of them can be changed, and how they go about getting them changed, right? Whether it's an addition, a subtraction, throw it out and rewrite, whatever it is we feel like needs to happen. People need to know that those are possibilities and how to actually make that happen. In addition to understanding the difference between legislated laws and administrative laws. And so most people don't really understand the differences between the two. Most of our laws have to do with money and how it gets allocated. Everything else is decided in an office by people we didn't elect to do the work. So we want to make sure that we know how to make those changes to processes and things so that the things that we think are important are being fought for. One of the most challenging pieces of the work for me has been separating myself from the work, right? So I have things that are important to me. Let's say I have 5 things that are important to me. I don't want to just push those 5 things, right? Or work with people who want to move those 5 things. I want to work with people who have their own ideas about what their cause is and make sure that they are empowered to fight for their cause. And that's where, I have to fight my inner self-absorbed person, I guess we'll call her. And really figure out how to separate myself so that I'm, remain bipartisan And I have applied for, have done the processes to apply for my 501c3. So I really got to be bipartisan or nonpartisan, so to speak, and make sure that I am presenting information in a way that it is able to be received and reciprocated by people, no matter what their cause is. But the other part of that is being a collective, a route to collective expectations. I think that it's important that we in Baltimore develop a slate of expectations that we want to market to people who want our votes. You cannot just have our votes for nothing anymore. Like those days are done. So these are the things that we expect to see from you. If you want to stay in this position, you want our votes to stay in that position. You need our votes to stay in that position. So we need you to hold us down. And so, creating that reciprocity with our quote unquote leaders, people in official roles, and making sure that we then hold them accountable to the things that they've said they're going to do. In this phase, I have been really building my knowledge base, right? So I have an MPA, but I have been out of Baltimore for a long time. I've always been, I worked in the mayor's office, so I have connections from those days, but I don't necessarily, I haven't done the work, right? So a lot of my beginning was basically validating myself, in that I am, in the thought that I am prepared to do this work, that I have, I'm not just showing up from, out of the blue sky, that I was here and, I left and then I'm back. So a lot of that has been, the time that's been used right now and building my infrastructure for the organization itself. Ops is what I do. So, just turning that into doing it for my own business instead of for everyone else's. I've been making connections with the leaders in different Baltimore communities, religious leaders, street leaders, like community group, official community group leaders, talking to them, building relationships, letting them see my face in the place, so that they know that I am not an overnight activist. That I'm not new to this, I'm true to this, and that I'm here for all the right reasons. And also figuring out where those synergistic relationships are, been able to build some of those things with people who I have existing relationships with in the city, and they have organizations that are and have been doing that work more recently than I have. And so just partnering with them around places where they're seeing gaps, things that they offer versus things that they don't offer that would fit into, a perfect relationship where we can, just enjoy that synergy. And then the creation of resources. So building my team so that they can help build the resources is not a one-man job. Excuse me. I have found someone to help with my social media campaign as I build followers, and because followers help with visibility as well as sponsorship and people believing that you have the following, so to speak. And then also laying out what I want my website to actually look like. At one point, it was going to be a database, like a decision tree database, and that may still happen, but those logistics are a lot and cost a lot. So that is definitely not disappeared, but it's on the back burner. I have been making relationships also with people who are running for office, and getting agreements that, quote unquote, when I call, they'll show up. Some of them I believe more than others, but it's all about making it fit. And calling them on what they say, right? So if you say you're going to do it, I'm going to hold you to it. And if you don't, I'm going to shout you out. So there's that part. And so I do look forward to hosting candidate forums moving forward. And I am also supporting Queen and the Squeegee Project's forum fair. Focus fair. And I will be using some of that data that we gather from there as well. And hopefully, that's another opportunity for synergy there as we, look to the youth to help us realize where we can make them feel more involved and make sure they understand how involved they actually are and how much more involved they should actually be. Oh, I won't say should be, but they have the opportunity to be. And that's it.
Thank you so much. We look forward to hearing more from you. Kizzy's last, that was the last of our like core EAs, like the new ones. We do have 2 alumni that I am going to speak about. The first one is Miss Jasmine Hall with Youth of the African Diaspora. Unfortunately, she had to leave because of an emergency, but I do have a video to show you all, and I will show you right now. So that was a quick snippet of the work that she's doing with the youth of the African diaspora. So really it's, she was an Elevation awardee last cohort, so cohort 4. And so through our alumni program, we brought her back in order to get some additional support and for her to mentor to our new awardees. And then our last alumni is Brittany Young with B360, and she was here, but then had to hop off. She has a speaking engagement. There was a young man who is a writer or was a writer in the city, and unfortunately, there was an accident the other day. So she's going to speak around the importance of having a safe space for dirt bike riders to have within the city. And I have a video from her work as well. So let me find that.
I want you to take this journey with me. Let's set the stage. It's a Sunday in Baltimore. It could be kids in a park. We're in Druid Hill. They're watching dirt bike riders go past, do tricks, pop wheelies, do stunts. They're zipping. You can hear the engines revving, smell the gasoline. You can see the joy and excitement in their face. Someone's probably learning how to fix their dirt bike because the parts are way too expensive to buy. Then they can go to school. They can get a pop quiz or a test from a teacher. You know the kind we all heard and we've all hated. A train that's leaving from New York goes to Cleveland, but they're here in Baltimore. How does this relate? They don't get it. They failed the test and now they can hate school. Then their world can be turned upside down. They can get on Facebook, on Instagram, get a call or a text. They can watch as their friend can become a hashtag. A kid in the wrong place at the wrong time, lost to the streets, lost to the system, or lost to gun violence. Or a kid that could be arrested for a dirt bike. because in my city, it can be a misdemeanor for possession of a dirt bike. This can be a likely story for Black kids across the country. In cities like Miami, Cleveland, Atlanta, Philly, whatever place had the dirt bike task force. Now ask yourself, if the thing you use to relieve your stress, if it was demonized, would you still do it? If it was criminalized? The answer is yes. That's the reality for Black people across the US right now. They've watched as we made room in cities for skateboarders, for bicyclists, and any other sport. They can watch TV and see it on X Games, the Olympics, on ESPN. The style of riding can be seen in ad campaigns and films. But in Baltimore, what do they have to look forward to? What do riders get from all of it? No space, no outlet, just typical narrative. Like I said, this is a common story. I was a kid in the park. I wanted to be just like the big dirt bike riders, but I hate the fall. Instead, I became like Bill Nye the Science Guy. I was doing all kinds of experiments, blowing my eyebrows off, blowing people to the chair, and I may or may not have made stink bombs in school. They would describe me as another bad kid. What they didn't see was all my genius, my talent, my voice was not heard. Then I became that Black girl from West Baltimore working in STEM. My first position, I was confused for the secretary. I was pissed, but it lit a fire in me, so when I get more people in the industry. And in 2013, that's what I started doing, working in small groups with kids and students, teaching them STEM activities. Then in 2014, I lost my little brother to the prison system. In 2015, I lost all faith in the system, period. The world watched, following the Freddie Gray uprising as Baltimore burned. I wondered, when were people going to listen? Where were the solutions? And where was the investment into my community? In 2016, I broke the system and became the founder and CEO of B360, carving out a new lane. I went back to my experience in the park. I thought about the kids fixing their bikes. Those are skills people use to pay the bills, just like mechanics and mechanical engineers. We leaned into STEM, S, science. The science behind popping the best Willie, putting your dirt bike at 12 o'clock, is a physics equation. T, technology. The technology needed to get the best radial tires so you don't have frictional asphalt. E, engineering. The engineering needed to fix or repair your dirt bike, but to also get the best mac noise. M, mathematics. The math needed for the gas to oil ratio so your dirt bike does not explode. Then I took it a step further. I thought about the riders. I knew the only way to have programming solutions was to have them at the table, because the people closest to the problem are the solution. I thought about Mike. Since he was 6, he's been riding dirt bikes. When he was 17, graduating high school, he didn't know what he wanted to do, but he knew he loved everything about dirt bikes. He started working with us at B360. He's helped us educate kids, train dirt bike riders, and at 21, he's our lead instructor. He's created events, he's traveled across the country, and he really represents the best of B360. At the core of our work is constantly thinking about what people like Mike want. For Mike, he wants a space where he can keep working with students on our curriculum, a space where he can keep training more riders and growing their skill sets, a space where he no longer has escape, but he has something in his own city for him. With your support and the support of more cities, we can make this a reality. Since 2017, we've saved the city of Baltimore about $233 million by doing programming for over 7,000 students. We've saved the city of Baltimore $1 million by growing workforce and opportunities for people just like Mike. That's less people that could possibly go to jail, less money spent on dollars and cents of incarceration, and more money going back into our Black communities, our leaders, our culture, and our voices. We don't need your Black squares. We don't need your campaigns. But what we do need is your dollars and cents behind us to make real change. We need more people like you in cities to believe and invest in us in our model of growing the people. What will you choose to be? An ally, be an impact, be the revolution, be 360. Thank you.
All right. So that was Brittany Young's story in B360. And at this time, we are done. So officially, cohort 5, it's over. No more emails from me. But I do want you to know, and I definitely encourage you to take heed of Lonnie's words. I am here for you all, will forever be able to support you in whatever way I can. I am your connection to Baltimore Core. So if at any reason you need anything from us as far as like network or connections, please leverage this network. Please use me in order to continue. Please use me as a thought partner. And then I invite me to your events. I'm here to support you and your work. Thank you again for your time and your energy and just putting up with me throughout this whole process. And so with that, I bid you adieu. And I am so excited to hear about your future. So good night, all.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you,
Good night.
Jennifer.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.